your second time facing Connecticut. When you prepared for this game, how much of your preparation was looking at the meeting up in Stores, and how much was just trying to look at your last couple of games and improving on your recent performance?
You know, when you prepare for Connecticut, it's there's so much to prepare for. You know, as coaches, you just know what they're capable of doing because we see so much more film than the girls. And the thing that always scares me with Connecticut, where they go man zone, is their ability to shoot the three. And their ability to spread out your defense, their ability for just about everybody, except maybe a couple post players that can shoot the three. And we do not have the three-point shooters to counter that. And that's probably what scared me the most, is I knew their ability to shoot the three. And we got to do a better job of minimizing the number of threes we give up. And we didn't do that today. And, you know, they started, I think, their first two of their first three shots were threes. They go up 8-2. And, you know, being able to defend Stewart down there. I mean, she's really, we really don't have that player that can defend her because she's a 3-4 player. She can shoot outside, but yet she can post you up and she can take you on the dribble. And she just, the things she does, I mean, her stats are always good, but the things she does for that team is just, you just can't, you can't put it all down in writing. I mean, she really puts so much pressure on defenses and how to, you know, how to defend them. And, you know, we just, I mean, and the thing about it is we gave up so many easy shots against UConn because we couldn't make shots. You know, they got a lot of transition buckets, but, you know, in preparation for my biggest fear is giving up the three ball. That's my biggest fear against UConn, and how to defend Stewart.
Gino Auriemma said that the score wasn't indicative of the difference between the two teams. He said it was one of those nights where SMU just wasn't making shots until that stretch in the middle of the second half. Was that a result of their defense being particularly stingy, or was it just a day where your shots weren't falling?
I think it was Gino being kind. You know, shots weren't falling, but we were throwing the shots. I mean, the thing that UConn does very well is, people don't realize this, is they come at you, they don't stop short. They don't close out short. They follow through on shots. They contest shots better than any team I've seen in a long time, because they always have great help rotation, and they have, you know, they have the bigger players that can rotate. And in a lot of situations, Stewart is your rotator a lot of times, but they come out and they contest hard because they have the length. If you give them a little ball fake and you try and go under, they have the length to come out and defend you. And I think, you know, they make you play a spread offense. They make you play further from, you know, from the basket. And you know, our shots didn't fall in. And I saw our kids tighten up. I saw them tighten up when shots didn't fall. And what happens when shots don't fall, and then you get long rebounds, they're so fast, they're so great in transition. You know, if we're not getting any rebounds, they're getting layups on the other end. I mean, as I said in Chalk Talk today earlier, I said the Connecticut's team, even though they're number 2, there's no question they are the best team in the country. Yeah, they probably played the best schedule. You know, they may have that one loss, which has made them better. They've been a whole lot better since that one loss. But I said in Chalk Talk today that there is no team in men's basketball that compares to Connecticut on the women's side. Maybe the San Antonio Spurs. And what I mean by collegiate basketball, they are a WNBA team. That's what they are. They are comparable to an NBA team. And Brianna Stewart is, as I told them, I told our people, I said, you watch her play, you watch her come off a screen, you watch her come off a pin down screen, and she gets it, and all in one motion, she shoots like a guy. I mean, she is like an NBA player on the female side of it. That's what kind of team we face today. You
talked about, you saw some of your players tightening up a little bit. Is it that tightness, nerves, that led to the stretch at the beginning of the second half, the scoreless run, before your shooters hit that little hot streak there from 3?
Well, I just, you know, it's really frustrating because, I mean, look at it, we went 12 minutes and we were, I can't remember what it was, obviously 0 for that part's pretty easy. But we got some looks, and you know, there were a couple shots. I just sat back and said they went in and out. They literally rimmed in and out. And it was like there was a lid on the basket. And it really, and I felt bad for kids because it frustrated them. There were a couple shots that I thought, okay, this is it. This is the one. Sometimes you need the one to get you going. And then all of a sudden they decide to listen to me and work the ball quicker and reverse the ball, do the things that we've actually talked about. And for about a 3-4 minute span, they did the things we talked about and got open looks. And, you know, so maybe they'll get it.
What was your message at halftime?
My message at halftime, this is exactly what I told them. I said, you got to forget about the score. You can't play this half with the score. You got to come out the second half. You got to be fighters. You know, the biggest thing we talked about was fighting, and you know, I don't think we ever gave up. I don't think we didn't fight. We couldn't hit shots. And you know, I mean, you get discouraged when you don't hit shots. That's human nature. I don't care. You expect to hit shots. You wouldn't be here if you didn't expect to hit shots. But you know, the biggest message was we got to see what we're made of. We got to be fighters, and you know, we got to work on our stuff to improve. So obviously that halftime talk really worked, didn't it?
Well, you went through that stretch after halftime, but then Bolton gave you 3 threes. Perry gave you a couple of threes. What did that tell you as far as the fight, the lack of quit that you had?
Well, I think, you know, what I told the kids is I said, listen, you're not going to get open looks against Connecticut. They're too fast, they're too quick, they're too lengthy. When you work the ball or you got ball reversal action, you got to be ready to step into a pass and shoot it. You know, and I use this example. I can't remember what game it was. I was watching our men. I was watching Nick Moore on the right wing, and they reversed the ball. And I'm telling you, he caught it in one action. It's going up, and that's what I said. You got to be as shooters. You got to be ready to shoot the ball. You can't catch then decide you're going to shoot it. And you know, when kids miss shots, it's tough because they get down on themselves. And I don't think we were ready to shoot it enough. I mean, you know. You have to be ready. It's a mentality. You have to have a certain mentality.
You added a new player this semester in Stephanie Collins, who's now 5 games in. Played limited minutes, but she's 6'5". She can run a little bit. What does she add to your team, and how's she doing in the adjustment process to learning your system and learning her new teammates?
Well, the first time she was able to practice with us was the day we left for St. John's tournament. And literally, you know, here she is, and 2 days later, she's on the court playing, thrown in the fire. She's playing. She doesn't even know all her teammates' names yet. I mean, that's how quick she was thrown into it, really. And then you come back, all of a sudden, we're gone for Christmas. Then you come back, we have 1 day to prepare, or 2 practices to prepare for Connecticut. So she never really got ample practice time until this week, until this Monday. And so she actually improved a lot from the beginning. But the area that I've noticed that we have to work with her on is when she helps her approach her angles. You know, she tends to overrun, and you know, she's trying to learn so many plays. She's trying to learn offenses. She's trying to learn calls in such a hurry. And you know, it's good to have a player like that. Sometimes it takes you away from your flow of what you're normally working on. I mean, heck, we added, just Friday, we added another player who's practicing with us, Mackenzie Adams. And so that's all good, but at the same time, there's some disruption to it. It's not a bad disruption, but it kind of makes you, okay, you got to stop and explain things. And we're really trying to help Steph, like just even in our press attack, you know, where she's supposed to be and when to switch. When to switch on inbounds, not switch. There's just so much she's absorbing, and I don't think it was a good gauge. Today she played, I think maybe, was it 18 minutes? Is that what it says there? Mm-hmm. Okay, she played like 18 minutes. That's more than she's played in a while. And then of course with Destiny out, that's makes those minutes even more crucial.
What's the key to bouncing back when you go to Tampa to face South Florida?
I think you got to be tough-skinned, and I think I told them, I said, you got to do all the little things. And Lisa had a great end of game conversation with them about the focus, about listening, about when I talk during the timeout, understanding your role. It's like sometimes they step across that line and they go brain dead. And you know, there are a couple situations where we call something, and granted, a lot of times we get caught with our, our youngsters because it's a speedy timeout. You know, we're throwing in things, and they sometimes they struggle with that. They're not used to that, the attention to detail. And they got to get it. They got to get in the gym and do the extra stuff. But you got to do the little things. You know, that's the key. And right now, they have to have better focus.